morning. We are ready to begin. I ask that everyone please put your cell phones on silent or off so that they do not ring during the press conference. We will bring up Mr. Grant and we will get started. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is John Grant. I am Executive Director for the Cricket Celebration Bowl, and we are delighted to be here with you this morning. I want to extend our thank yous to Michelle Jenks and the Sports Jenks for organizing this press conference. She always does an outstanding job, and for those of you who know Michelle, she is fondly known as the Sheriff. And she does a wonderful job supporting as our media coordinator. So thank you, Michelle, for all that you do. We want to welcome you to the 2023 Cricket Celebration Bowl press conference, and I bring you greetings on behalf of ESPN and our bowl staff. These people work very hard to make sure that we are delivering a world-class experience, bowl experience to our student athletes, to our fans who attend, and to the fans who tune in from around the world. A champion will rise is a fitting theme for this year's Cricket Celebration Bowl matchup. Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference champion Howard University, led by Coach Larry Scott, will be making their first appearance in the bowl game. Southwestern Athletic Conference champion Florida A&M University, led by head coach Willie Simmons, also making their first appearance. These two storied programs, led by two outstanding coaches, are sure to deliver a highly competitive championship game. This year's bowl week is shaping up to be one for the ages. All roads lead to Atlanta now takes on an additional meaning with the launching of the inaugural Band of the Year National Championship. 4 bands, 2 from Division I and NAIA, and 2 from Division II will compete here in Mercedes-Benz on Friday as a prelude to the championship bowl game for 2 national championships. This year also marks our second inductee into the Celebration Bowl Hall of Fame. We're pleased to announce that Coach Rod Broadway, a 2-time winner of the Celebration Bowl in 2015, the inaugural year, and 2017, when he capped off a perfect season as Celebration Bowl champion. He retired after the conclusion of that season. I want to recognize our title sponsor in the room, represented here today by Mr. PJ Parr, Senior Marketing Manager of Sponsorships for Cricket Wireless. PJ, we want to acknowledge our title sponsor. You know, we announced in July of this year that Cricket signed on for an additional multi-year deal taking us through 2027. And we are excited and pleased with that relationship. So thank you very much, PJ. Championship weekend. We look forward to seeing you in Atlanta because there are times when giants need to be giants. And this year, we have 2 giants who demonstrated that they are indeed giants. This weekend, December 15th and 16th, here in Atlanta, Georgia, where all roads lead to Championship Central. Thank you so much, and a champion will rise. I'd like to now bring forth to you the athletic director or associate athletic director for Howard University, who's going to bring greetings on behalf of Howard University.
Good morning, everyone. So good to see you all today. I'm Siobhan Mansfield, Executive Athletic Director and Senior Women Administrator at Howard University. I bring greetings on behalf of Director of Athletics, Carrie Davis, and President Dr. Ben Vincent III. It's a great honor to be here this week in our first ever bid to the Celebration Bowl in program history. This game features two of the top HBCU institutions in the country, athletically and academically. The streets are saying it's a battle of Jordan versus LeBron, because Howard's a Jordan brand school and FAMU is rep by LeBron and Nike. This past year, our student athletes achieved a variety of milestones on the field of play and inside the classroom. It's truly gratifying to witness firsthand the hard work and determination as they push through all the obstacles this year. In fact, we're a little jet lagged today, fresh off of a trip from Vegas, where our DB Kenny Gallup was named the MEAC Defensive Player of the Year in conjunction with the National Football Foundation Annual Awards Dinner. This year, our football team was also named the FCS National Team of the Week earlier this season, and head coach Larry Scott, who you hear from later, is a top 20 finalist for the Eddie Robinson FCS Coach of the Year Award. We also this year won our second consecutive MEAC championship, which earned us a bid to the Celebration Bowl next week. This summer, as a department, we swept the MEAC Commissioner's Cup for both men's and women's sports. And that's just a small tip of the iceberg of what we've done athletically. But I think I'm even more proud of what we've done academically. It's kind of hard being a student athlete at Howard sometimes due to the academic rigors of the institution. As a department with 21 sports and over 500 athletes, we have a 3.3 cumulative GPA, and football alone has a 3.0 GPA. Football also leads all HBCUs in APR, and we're so proud of that at Howard University. In closing, I'd like to thank the MEAC, ESPN, John Grant, all the Celebration Bowl staff for their strong support of next week's bowl game. And also thank you to Cricket and all the sponsors here this week to your commitment for making this event possible. We are so pleased to be proud of a wonderful experience with you. Thank you.
Never thought of the LeBron Jordan matchup. Man, Giants are standing up to be giants. Next, we'd like to bring forth the athletic vice president and director of athletics, Tiffany Sykes from Florida A&M University.
Good morning. On behalf of President Larry Robinson, over 9,000 students, over 80,000 alumni, I bring you greetings from the #1 public HBCU, Florida A&M University. Home of the 2023 SWAC champions, home of the 2023 Defensive Player of the Year, Isaiah Major, home of the 2023 Player of the Year, Jeremy Musa, and of course, home of the 2023 SWAC Coach of the Year, Willie Simmons. We are honored to represent the Southwestern Athletic Conference and its 12 member institutions in the 2023 Cricket Celebration Bowl. I want to extend my sincere appreciation for Cricket for sponsoring this event, supporting our student athletes, and contributing to a genuine celebration of their accomplishments. Thank you. I also want to thank John Grant and his staff for providing a first-class bowl experience for Florida A&M University since we first learned that we earned the bid. Thank you, John. This event is an event that I look forward to every single year. I have been at this event almost every year since its inception, and I can't think of a better way, a better place, or a better group of people that I would like to celebrate my first year as the athletic director at Florida A&M than being right here at the Celebration Bowl. You see, this event is a nexus of things that I am most passionate about: athletic excellence, academic excellence, and Black excellence. Thanks again for providing us with this platform to showcase the very best that FAMU has to offer, and we look forward to celebrating with all of you next week. Go Rattlers.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is showtime. And we'd like to introduce to you the stars of our show. All the way from Tallahassee, and all the way from Washington, D.C. Stand by as we bring forth Mr. Sam Crenshaw. Sam has been in Atlanta media covering stories and sports for years, currently at 92.9 The Game. He is also a reporter for ATL 26 City Channel 26 and is a broadcaster for Georgia State Athletics. As a member of the Georgia Public Broadcasting Sports Crew, Sam serves as an analyst in studio programs and serves multiple roles in high school, football, basketball, and state finals. He has also covered HBCU athletics for many years, and I call him a very dear friend. Sam Crenshaw.
All right, good morning. We're gonna do better than that. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. Man, I'm excited about this matchup. As a champion will rise once again, the Cricket Celebration Bowl here in Atlanta. Welcome to Atlanta. Welcome back for those who've been here before, but welcome to two new faces for this game. Some fresh blood. I'm very excited to have two of the biggest brands among HBCUs performing on the grandest stage for HBCU athletics, the Cricket Celebration Bowl. And a tip of the cap to Florida A&M on a note. Next week, middle of the week, high school state championships with Georgia will be played here. Florida A&M has the Florida State High School Championships on their campus. I think that's one of the biggest stories in HBCU sports. They have the very best athletes in your state come to play at an HBCU facility on a campus. So congratulations to you on having that. When I get to the principals, can't wait to hear from MEAC, founded in 1970. While they're the younger of the two conferences, they've been simply dominant in this game. Only once has the opposing conference come away as a winner. So we're going to welcome Coach Larry Scott to come up, representing the Howard University Bison. No pressure. MEAC wins this game. Welcome, Coach Scott. Welcome to Atlanta.
Thank you, appreciate that. No pressure. And this is not a pressurized situation, right? We've been doing something, I tell our kids all the time, man, hey, football is something you've been doing since you were 4 or 5 years old. So at the end of the day, go out, have fun, you know, train your butts off, understand what process means to get yourself in position to have the opportunity and keep your feet in the moment, to stay in the moment and enjoy it, just like you did your first time going out and playing when you were 6, 7 years old and you put it on shoulder pads and the helmet and it was fun. It's no different. The stakes a little higher, yes. We're a little bit, you know, mature and don't understand this, the magnitude of what we're doing, absolutely. But at the end of the day, it's still a child's game. We're still supposed to enjoy it and have fun with it. It is the tool, right, that propels us forward and all the other things in life, like having the opportunity to be at Howard. So I love that you think it's a pressurized situation. You know what? We're just gonna come down here. We're gonna put forth our best foot. We're gonna prepare well, and we're gonna have fun. We're gonna take in the moment, be where our feet are, enjoy all of it in its totality, right? The whole experience, and that's what it is for our young people. And that's what we're challenged with, I think, mostly as coaches, is to make sure we're providing them with those opportunities, helping them tie those moments and opportunities to what it is that they do every day. So it's going to be fun, and we're looking forward to really enjoying it. I really appreciate the support of our administration. Our new president, Ben Vincent, has been tremendous since he's come in and really engaged our young men in our program, in our locker room, FaceTime, all those type of things. He's really leaned in on the program, and I think that's helped our young men understand the importance of what they do every day and why they do it, and the passion in which they do it. My administration, Carrie Davis, our AD, Senior Women's Administrator, Siobhan Mansfield, have been tremendous for us in understanding some of our needs and things that we need to get done, and doing everything that we can within the university's means as best we can to put these young people in the right place, both academically and athletically. So to see that all come together and the culmination of why we do what we do, from a spiritual, the physical, mental side of things, come to this moment. This is the moment, right? This is why you do it. And for us to be here in Atlanta and have an opportunity to put our product on display is what we go to work for each and every year. Every football team takes on a new life come January. And with the end in mind is being at this moment. And we're here and we're super excited to do it in a place like Atlanta, which is kind of like the melting pot, right? The kind of the mecca of college football, if you want to say. A lot of championship games just happened here. We all took in the SEC championship game. There's been national championship games. There's the kickoff classic. All those great college football games and traditions that we all watch and sit around in our homes and on our couches and different things like that, and gossip about in the barbershops and at our jobs and all those things actually lead back to Atlanta every time. And so to have an opportunity to do that at Howard University is a tremendous, tremendous opportunity for our young men. And we're super excited to do it.
Thank you so much, Coach. Of course, you said there's no pressure. There's got to be definitely some pressure on this other person because the SWAC was founded in 1920. Now, it's been a while since this institution has been to town to play. I think, Mr. Grant, you said 2014 last time. Since that time, the Cricket Celebration Bowl has had a representative from the SWAC, and the MEAC has survived several times Alcorn State. They survived the Grambling State Revival. They even survived Jackson State and Coach Prime. You got your work cut out for you, Coach Willis Simmons. Congratulations on winning the championship conference and being a representative. Welcome to Atlanta to the Cricket Celebration Bowl.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you guys so much for being in attendance today. Look forward to coming back in a week and having a great time in what we call FAMU North. Atlanta's been a city that FAMU has really benefited from as far as recruitment, as far as just playing games here in the Atlanta Classic. And Rattler Nation has been begging for a return to FAMU to Atlanta for a long time. So we couldn't work it out on the regular season side, so we had to do our part and make it happen in the championship format. So we're so excited to be here today to represent Florida A&M and the Southwestern Athletic Conference in the 2023 Cricket Celebration Bowl. I'd like to start out by bringing you greetings from our university president, Dr. Larry Robinson. Of course, you've heard from our illustrious vice president and director of athletics, Tiffany Don Sykes. I want to thank our sport administrator and director of compliance, Brittany Johnson. And last but not least, so I have someone to sleep tonight. I'd like to thank my wife, Shea Simmons, a proud two-time FAMU alum, for being here in attendance today. And it's truly a special time for our university, for our program, but most importantly, the young men who we're blessed and honored to serve every single day. Like Coach Scott said, we started this journey back in January with this goal in mind. And we weren't bashful about that. You know, we truly expected to be here, and the young men have put in all the work and preparation to make this day possible. So we're excited about this great opportunity. Again, we look forward to coming here and going up against the best the MEAC has to offer. Of course, everyone knows we were longstanding members of the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference before we decided to make a switch back in 2021. And so again, it's only fitting that we come back and try to do something that hasn't been done in a while, and let's bring the championship back to the Southwestern Athletic Conference. But we're excited about this great opportunity, excited about the direction of not only our football program, but our entire athletic department under the leadership of AD Sykes, under the leadership of our university administration, and the support of over 85,000 living alumni who call FAMU home. It's an honor to represent the #1 public HBCU in America. And again, it's a testament to the hard work, the sacrifices of many before us that have gotten us to this place. And so next week's game will be a great representation of the best that Black college sports and Black colleges have to offer. You're talking about the two premier co-ed HBCUs in America. And there's no doubt about that. Of course, people will debate as to which one is the best, but there's no debate that we are the two top co-ed HBCUs in America. And that's from an academic standpoint. And Coach Scott, his staff, myself and my staff have worked extremely hard to bring the top two football programs at the Division I level toe-to-toe, head-to-head in Mercedes-Benz Stadium in the Cricket Celebration Bowl. So honored to be here. Thank you guys so much. And I will look forward to answering questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much to both coaches. Just move this over a little bit if we can. Okay. Make sure. All right. And before I get to your question, I got a question for both coaches. In the last several years, for a number of reasons, HBCU athletics has received a lot more attention, a lot more coverage. Neither of your programs are strangers. You both have been seen nationwide. I want to get thoughts from both of you about that. You're playing this during a time when there's been a spotlight on HBCUs. How has it profited both you and your programs?
Well, I think the commitment from everyone has allowed this to happen. You know, it's not just the job that we as coaches do. It's our administrations supporting our student athletes. It's the local media telling our stories. It's our own internal media telling our stories. And I think we're doing a much better job of that now than we ever have. And so just the spotlight that has been placed on, you know, Black excellence, I think the resurgence of that has really played a profound role in that. Unfortunately, some of it has been due to some events that we all know about. But regardless, we are in a situation where we have an opportunity to continue to attract the best and brightest out there at institutions like Florida A&M and Howard. So we're thankful to be here, and we look forward to continuing to build our brands so that we can continue to bring our best and brightest home.
Right, I agree 100% with what Coach just said. I think at the end of the day, the product has always been great, right? It's always been there. It's always had, you know, the shine and everything that everybody now see through the lenses of people's cameras. But that has always been what the expectation standard has been. It's been excellence across the board. And I think what you're seeing now is just a more balanced approach towards it all, right? We can be, a lot of things can be true at the same time. We don't just have to be brilliant in the classroom or in, you know, in the courtroom or in the political sphere. We can be great, you know, entertainers. We're great at football. We're great at sports and athletics and women's sports and volleyball for us and basketball. There's just a greatness that comes with being in this environment and in the culture. So at the end of the day, I think just the cameras being turned on now, that's getting into many more homes where other people can now see what that looks like, has piqued a lot of interest. And with that interest, that become the attraction of more talent and more, you know, premier, big time, quote unquote, athletes now that see that they want to be a part of what that holistic approach is. And I think that's more of it too. It's just not about the athletics. It's about the big picture. It's about, you know, the development holistically that, you know, you can't get and find in many other places in the country unless you choose HBCU.
All right, going to open it up for questions. You have microphones on both sides. Raise your hand and they'll bring the microphone to you. When you get the microphone, identify yourself and who you are representing.
Good morning, coaches. Roy Evans with the Black College Sports Network. As we look at this year's Celebration Cricket Bowl, we're talking about two programs that battled each other for years, as you spoke about in the MEAC, and being two of the top programs just in general. There's a nickname that's going around already calling the Bougie Bowl about what's happening. What do you think the impact of these two teams being in the Cricket Celebration Bowl is going to have, not only on Atlanta, but the event as a whole? I'd actually like each of you to talk about it from the other schools, being their impact.
Well, I think what two better institutions to highlight on a national stage than Florida A&M and Howard. You're talking about, again, the #1 public HBCU in America, the #1 co-ed institution in America, Howard, with 2 and 3 overall, according to U.S. News and World Reports. And so I tell people all the time, you know, football is oftentimes the front porch to the university. And they're young men and women in far-reaching parts of the United States that their first introduction to HBCU will be next Saturday. Because they'll have their TV on. They'll just happen to be excited about bowl season the way everyone is. We're one of the first bowls that will be played. And so again, when that student sees a commercial about Howard's, you know, School of Law or about FAMU School of Business and Industry, it piques their interest and it makes them want to take a deeper look. And so because, yes, we're both here to win a national championship in football, but we're also here to represent two phenomenal institutions that will bring, again, more awareness to the excellence that is historically Black colleges and universities, and we don't take that responsibility lightly.
not at all. And I think for me, it's been kind of a personal application too. Growing up in Florida, of course, I mean, you heard the rap lists everywhere you went, right? It was Florida A&M, Florida A&M, Florida A&M, and Cookman was like number 2 to Florida A&M. I'll say that now. But you know, growing up, I mean, the Florida Classic was an event. It was something that we didn't miss. You know, around every Thanksgiving, it was synonymous with Thanksgiving, Florida Classic. Whether it was in Tampa or we went for it, moved to Orlando, it was something that we did as a family. And my grandmother was very, very much so the catalyst behind that. She was also a political figure in town, so she was very, inclined to a lot of political figures that would come through the area during election season, and a lot of which were Howard grads. And she talked very fondly of Howard. You know, she grew up in Connecticut. She migrated down in the South, and obviously the brand followed her. So all over our home, you heard of Howard University, Howard University. We attended all the Florida A&M events. So for me, it's kind of a personal thing to actually sit here today and have this opportunity, right? As the head coach at Howard University, I know she'd be turned over in her grave. And that was a big, significant reason as to why I took on the opportunity at Howard, because of just the fondness and the stories that I would hear of what Black excellence was. And that's where it was first presented to me, is in the brand of Howard University. So to have this opportunity, for me personally, means a lot. But just like Coach Simmons just said, I think everybody realizes that, right? There's research, there's academics, and there's athletics. And when you have those 3 things going in the same direction, and everybody's got their all hands on the rope and our knees are bent, we're straining and pulling in the same direction, you get a chance to really produce something special. And I think having these cameras on this game, being in all the households that we get an awesome opportunity to kick off bowl season, just continues to enlighten that and continue to spread the information and the word of who we are, not just as athletics or a football program, but who we are as a culture and as a university.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's Inside HBCU Sports Lab. Wanted to get back to the matchup. In a lot of ways, had a chance to follow both teams throughout the year. And I know football is multi-dimensional, but I wanted to focus for you, Coach Scott, on the offensive side of the ball, and for you, Coach Simmons, the defensive side of the ball. While your offense has been multiple dimensional, you've had some major success being able to run the ball. And when you're able to do that, it seems that your team has been even more success in terms of coming out to win. In terms of you, Coach Simmons, the defensive side of the ball has been a juggernaut, one of the top in the nation, certainly in the SWAC. Can both of you all talk about the game from that perspective, starting with you, Coach Scott? Excuse me.
Yeah, I think me and what my philosophy is on offense and being the play caller and those things is just, we always want to establish the run. For me, that's a mindset. That's a mindset of the brand of style of football that we want to play. It's also the biggest way that you can dictate the tempo of the game. And when you can establish that and can do it with a high level of consistency, you usually can dictate, the outcome of a game. You take the last game we played against Morgan State. We're struggling to protect a little bit. And we took the ball with the last 8 minutes and 37 seconds, and we made up our mind we weren't going to give it back. And that's a mentality that we create in camp. That's part of our toughness. That's part of our identity. When you got a Howard football team that's not able to run the football, it's probably not a good day. And we take that personal, not just our offensive line, our tight ends, but our backs, our receivers take it more personally than anybody. And once you establish that type of mindset, mentality, and culture, I think you got a chance to really build something special. So that's something that's near and dear to my heart. Being a former O-lineman myself, that we're going to establish the run, and that and me gives us also a chip, an edge on our shoulder, a mindset, a mentality that we're going to try to dictate the game that way, if possible. And so we're going to find ways to run the football because I think it creates a mindset, throughout that permeates throughout our whole football team.
Yeah, I think obviously when you get into championship football, it's about the physical and mental toughness of your team. And there's no, I think, greater indicator of those 2 factors than the ability of a team to run the football and the ability of the other team to stop the run. So again, whether you're indoors, outdoors, whatever, when you're playing football in November, December, it's physical. And, 12, both teams have played 11, 12 game seasons. Physically, you're beat down. Mentally, you're tired. Coach Scott and I were just talking about it. They're taking finals this week. Our guys are taking finals next week. So mentally, you have to be in a place where you can keep the main thing. And so just that physical grind of being able to go out and impose your will on a team that prides itself on being able to stop the football, run the football is something that our defense really takes great pride in. And that's something that we established, like Coach said, in training camp. We had a goal to be the #1 defense in the country and one of the top rushing and pass defenses in the country. We've been able to do that this season, but it starts with our commitment to stopping the run. And that's something that we know that we're going to have to do against a really, really good football team that has imposed their will on their not only their conference, but other teams as well. And so we're looking forward to that challenge. And I think that's one of the, as you talk about the game within the game, I think that's going to be one of the keys next week, our ability to stop one of the top rushing offenses in the country.
We got Dwayne back in the back.
Thank you very much, Dwayne Walker, longtime HBCU advocate and storyteller. So I've been covering this HBCU sports way back since the 90s, since the days of Black College Sports Today with Sam. And as far as I'm concerned, with both of these storied institutions, this is the single greatest, biggest event in HBCU football history, in my opinion, that's ever been. And I want to find out if you guys agree with that opinion.
Well, I'm not the historian, so I can't say this is the biggest game in the history of HBCU because of the rich history that we do all share. You talk about the teams of Jake Gates' era. You think back to the University of Tampa game, when Jake took our team down to Tampa and it was the first time that an HBCU took on a PWI in the South, and we won that game. You talk about the 1978 national championship game, the very first 1AA national championship that Florida A&M won. Those are two monumental moments because of the crossover. Right now, when you're talking about just staying within Black college, it may be right up there with you. But as I tell my team, this is the biggest game that we've ever played in. It's the most important game that we've ever played in. It's the biggest game that I've ever coached in my 18-year coaching career. But it's because it's the next one we get to play. And so we're excited about this opportunity. We'll allow the media, the historians, and everyone else to tell the story of how big this game is, how significant this game is when it's all said and done. But I'm cautious to get our team caught up in that because it does take away from what's most important. And that's our preparation on being 1-0 one more time this season. And our guys have done a great job of blocking out all the outside distractions. We're in Atlanta. We have a lot of guys on our team from Atlanta. So there will be enough distractions trying to keep them in their hotel rooms from Wednesday to Saturday. So we don't want to get into the historic complexity of this game. We're just going to try to live in the moment, as Coach Scott said, be where our feet are, and prepare to play our best game of the season.
And Coach left out that win over Miami.
Oh,
you can find on YouTube.
It's
one of ESPN's earliest broadcasts. So if you haven't checked it out, check that out.
Yeah, I would echo a lot of the same things that Coach Simmons say. I think at Howard, for us, it's about establishing a lot of new traditions, right? That are circled and built around the idea that we can play football at a very high level and we can also perform in the classroom at a high level. Two things can be true at the same time. And nothing can box us in. Nothing can do that anymore to us. So that's what, for us, it is new. It is refreshing, right? It is the idea and notion that I can excel in the classroom, but I can also excel in the football field, and I can play in the National Football League, and I can do all the things that people have always tried to label us or put us in the box, or either one or the other. And that's not true at all. We want to make sure we bring that to life at Howard every day. And our daily approach, just not, on Saturdays, but on Monday, learn how to process that out, develop routines, be very good in routines, and don't get bored with the basics. And I think at the end of the day, that's what it's about for us, just establishing what it is to have a bison walk, to establish us lean in on what it means to, we're a part of a fanfare. We have to build a fan base. We have to understand what that is. Yeah, it's winning, what that's all about. Yeah, it has a lot to do with it, but also just leaning in and being able to, like Coach Simmons said, the local media, the inside media, tell the stories of what's happening on a daily basis on the Hill. Is something that's important to us, and we've kind of leaned into the whole notion of that. And we want to make those two teams that have won national championships at Howard, proud, 93 and 96. So And here we are almost 30 years later, back at this moment to continue a new tradition, a new way of doing things, which I think is very exciting for our brand, who we are as we move forward with a new president, a new administration, and all those things. So I'm excited for what we're doing at Howard because I think it's new, it's refreshing, and we're rebuilding the whole mindset.
Thank you.
Greetings, coaches. My name is Meg Taylor. I'm the digital content producer for the Steve Harvey Morning Show. My question to you all is, can you share any music or motivational speeches you and your team may listen to before games, or in particular, a big game like this?
I'll see the start with a rap video, so I don't want to. We've come a long way since that, but you know, when you have a team of 120 young men from all different walks, different areas, Florida, Georgia, Texas, California, even the Midwest and Northwest, there's no telling what they listen to. I don't really even know the music they listen to now. It's kind of hard to keep up with the mumble rap, with all that kind of stuff. So, but again, this generation, they're fueled by music. You know, even NFL teams now have to play music at practice to get the guys locked in and focused. And so we play music at our practices. We come to the locker room before the game, there's music playing. So, you know, I know they're huge Kodak Black fans. We're in Florida, so they got to represent Kodak Black. They love Rod Wave. I think one of the things I'm concerned about, there's a Rod Wave concert, I think next Wednesday. And so they even have to delay our arrival one day because I think the whole team will be listening to Rod Wave if we get there, trying to sneak into the concert. But again, they're fueled by music. They love it. It gets them going. It keeps them focused. So for whatever reason, they're just different than we were. I still listen to gospel music before games just to mellow me out. They have to be turned up. And so again, I can appreciate Steve and his show because I hear more of the music that I like to listen to. My wife and I, we kind of still a little old school, so we listen to the older music than the newer generation. But yeah, I probably couldn't name 2 songs that they listen to just because we have a large gap between our children. We have little children who are 6, 8, so they can't listen to anything. And then we have a 24-year-old who I refuse to listen to music that he listens to.
Oh man, yeah. The only thing I can say about it is it helps keep you young. You know, you're playing at practice and you hear it over and over again. Next thing you know, you're mumbling the words in your head. You're like, oh gosh, it don't go off on me too. But yeah, I think, you know, everybody prepares different. You know, some guys have earbuds in, they listen to all types of things. Some of it I'm not a big fan of, just turn it off and play the clean version. Make sure you got the clean version of this and play. But one thing though, Steve, I want to find out who Steve's stylist is now. You got a new stylist, right?
It's still the same now.
Yeah, he's dressing there. I mean, like, yeah, coats and things like that. Maybe I can get one of those coats from him. Yeah, I mean, the music it's everything. It is everything. I mean, the energy is not right if the music ain't right. I'm on our people all the time. We get ready to go out for stretch, and it's like, okay, where's the music? Because I can already feel the energy go one way. And so that's the biggest part of making sure we're prepared and ready to go to practice. Is anything is the music right? Is kind of the stage set for us to come out here and practice and perform. So yeah, it's a big piece of what they're doing now.
Maceo Hurd, Court Sports Talk Network. For both coaches, quarterbacks always take center stage in bowl games. You guys have 2 signal callers that got you here. Both coaches, talk about you guys.
Well, obviously for us, Jeremy Musa has been the driver of the car for the last 2 years, and he's done an amazing job of just understanding the expectation of being a quarterback at Florida A&M. You know, you come into a place that's produced the Ken Riley and Albert Chester, Quinn Gray, Pat Bonner, the Jaywan Sider, you know, Ryan Stanley even. It's a huge platform, and it takes a guy with thick skin, with broad shoulders to handle all the criticism. I mean, there will be weeks where Jeremy Musa was a SWAT player of the week, and I would have to go into the media and defend fans calling him to be benched because, you know, he wasn't perfect that day. So he's just done an amazing job of just embodying everything it takes to lead at a place like FAMU. He's in his MBA program, getting his second master's degree from FAMU. He's got the highest GPA in the entire department, going to graduate with a 4.0 GPA with his MBA. You know, he's a mature young man. He's been voted team captain 2 years in a row. Just an amazing individual who really gets us going offensively. He's an unquestioned leader of our football team, and we're blessed to have Jeremy Musa at the helm. He's got one more game with the Rattlers, and we got to make sure that we show him our appreciation of him. But I'm gonna put it all on his shoulders, along with the defense, to carry us to where we need to be. But again, without him, we wouldn't be in this place. And you know, he's one of the best quarterbacks I've ever had the opportunity to coach.
I think for us, for Quentin, it's been a journey for him. You know, they've been through a lot in that program. I think it's his third head coach. He's had multiple quarterback coaches, multiple coordinators. And for a kid like that to go through what he's had to, you know, mature and grow through, being a local kid has also been hard, right? He's a local DMV guy that won multiple state championships. I think in his high school career, he only lost one high school game, 1 or 2 high school games or something like that. But it was a crazy deal. So he's a winner, and he's, you know, well known in the area. So it would be constant that he had people in his ear, no matter how good or how bad the Howard football team was. It didn't matter. It was Quentin Williams, and he's the quarterback, and he's a local guy. Right, so he's always had to, you know, walk out of there on Sundays. I could tell sometimes on Sunday afternoons he walked back in, and it's been a rough go for him. Not only just the media, but from his peers and friends and family and all those type of things. So to endure everything the young man has had to endure, to win at the high school level like that, and then now have an opportunity to leave his legacy at Howard forever. He's won back-to-back conference titles, one we tied for, and one we won outright. And to have a chance to come here and play his final game here in Atlanta, I think is a big time, you know, pat on the back to him, his perseverance and how he's just kind of grinded through it and grown. And I've watched him grow over the past 3 years. And so for me, it's probably been one of the biggest stories as you deal with an individual as a head coach that has gone through all the things that he had to go through. And to watch him mature, become a really big leader of not only just the offensive guys in skill positions, but his command of the offense, being in it for 3 years now, and have a sense of understanding through the play call of what we want to do and how we want to do things. That he's doing that, he's done it off the field. That's been the biggest thing for him. Is he's always been kind of a talented guy on the field, but to mature and grow to lead men off the field was something that he really had to learn how to do and embrace and wrap his arms around. And then, as you know, as a quarterback, the hardest thing to do is that when that moment you put in where it's, hey, these are my peers, but now I got to lead. And sometimes leading is not the most popular thing you want to do, especially in this generation. So for him to step outside of that and begin to grow on that level is the number one reason why we're here today. So I take my hat off to him and wish him nothing but success in this game.
Vicki Jones, VMH Magazine. This question is to both coaches. Just as much as you've spoken about the game, you've spoken about academics. Can you share with us how you're able to, from your role, ensure academics is at the top just as much as the game? And why I'd like to hear that is because HBCUs brews, for those that don't know in the world, high rating professionals across the board in various careers. So just as much as you talk about the game, I've heard consistently the academics. So could you elaborate on that for us a little bit?
Yeah, I think you can't succeed at a place like Florida A&M or Howard if you don't have a commitment to academic excellence. It's everywhere you go. You know, it's the students you're in class with, it's the professors, it's the community, it's the expectation of our alum that our students perform at the highest level. And so it starts with a commitment from the student athlete. I think that's something very important in the recruiting process, that we recruit young men, women for other sports, but for us particularly, young men who have a commitment to academic excellence. That's one of the goals they talk about. If the only thing a player is talking about is going to the NFL and that's it, he's probably not the type of player we need to recruit for Florida A&M. Because again, the academic rigor is real. You don't become the #1 public HBCU 5 years in a row if there's not a rigorous academic requirement there. The average GPA of our freshman class this year is a 4.02. And so that's what you're sitting in class with. You know, so you have to be able to keep up. I mean, the amount of AP courses they come in with, the amount of college credits many of them come in with. And like I tell them all the time, if you're a freshman, I use the analogy, if you're a freshman coming into a room of veteran players, the coach is probably going to teach a coach at that pace because he has a lot of older guys in the room who know what's going on. Now he may have to do take some special consideration for you as a freshman because you can't keep up, but he can't slow it down for you. He has to make sure that all these veterans know what they're doing. Well, this is the same thing in the classroom. The professors know that the students coming into their classroom are high achievers already. So they're not going to slow it down for that student who may have gotten in with special consideration because of the student athlete. And so the academic support has to be there. And I tip my hat to our administration. When VP Sites came in, our first conversation was about academics. It wasn't about championships. It wasn't about anything other than getting our program to a place where our students could succeed in the classroom. And we've created a robust academic support staff. Our compliance department, academic department work hand in hand. Ms. Brittany Johnson is very critical. We meet weekly, bi-weekly with all of our student athletes about academic success. And we've seen a complete turnaround in the last couple of years. So we tell our team that I think, and I've said it for years and years, and hopefully we'll get to talk about it next week, but the conversation for next week, I didn't want it to only be that we're the #1 ranked football team in the country. I wanted to be that we're the #1 football team, but we're also playing with 30+ graduates. That we also have multiple guys with 4.0 GPAs. We have over half our team with, 3.0 pluses, and the amount of guys that we're, pushing through and being great out in society, that needs to be the story as well. Not just that we have 3 guys in the NFL and that Marquise Bell is the second lead tackle for the Dallas Cowboys. That's phenomenal. But tell the story of the hundreds of other young men that have come through this program and that are making a real difference in Florida, in the Southeast, in the United States, and throughout this world. And that's what we get to put on display. So yeah, it takes a community. It can't just be the coaches and the players. It takes a great support staff. It takes a commitment from the administration. It takes commitment from our alum who want to come and volunteer hours or whatever it takes to help these young people. Our services for accommodations for some of our student athletes. It takes all of that because, again, Florida A&M is not slowing down. We're not going backwards. We're the #1 public HBCU 5 years in a row, and Dr. Robinson's committed to being 6. And we understand the commitment and the responsibility that we have as an athletic department to uphold those standards as well.
Yeah, it's critical. Obviously, the first thing I did when I got to Howard was understand the environment in which we were walking into. And to change the mindset was we had to first accept who we are, right? We're smart. That's where don't get caught up in the idea that smart guys can't play football, right? Smart guys aren't tough. Smart guys don't. Actually, you are the toughest people in the world because you have discipline, right? You have an acumen when you need to study. You know when you need to study. You know when you need to perform well in the classroom. Embrace that part of you. So when you see STMDT that we have a lot on a lot of our gear or on our helmets or whatever, is smarter, tougher, more disciplined together. So it starts with embracing who we are. And wrapping your arms around that and understanding the importance that we're going to win football games because the same approach that we take on the field is the same one we take in the classroom. We are competitive excellence. We talk about it all the time. Anything that you're going to be put into a situation where you're competing, we want to be the best, the absolute best at it. So the same approach that you take on 3rd down is the same one I want you to take on that 3rd chemistry exam. All right, the same effort you put into that, make sure that, because at the end of the day, winning is a mindset, right? It's a part of your DNA. And at the end of the day, you don't pick and choose when I'm going to win over here, and then I go over here and I'm not giving my best effort. You don't get to do that, especially being Black in this country. You have to be on all the time, right? So present yourself that way. Do that in everything that you do. Approach it with that mindset that I'm here to win. And so if you have that type of mindset and mentality, winning football games become a byproduct of that, right? Football is a tool. If you learn how to win on a Monday and what it takes to win on a Monday in the classroom, academically and socially, you'll take care of your business in practice. And if you continue to have that systematic way approach towards it on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, when we go out to play football, it's just like the door being open to the playground, right? It's recess. It's time to go have fun. It's time to go put in and just go have fun and play through the process that you built. And if you're a winner, you'll find a way to win the game. And that's what I'm starting to see within our program is just a holistic embracing of what we do on a daily basis. And that's wrapped around that. And so you talk about pressure. Yeah. That's where the pressure is. At Howard University, you walk into a classroom and the young man sitting next to you may be the CEO of Sony Records one day. The young lady that's sitting on to your left of you may be the vice president of the United States of America, of the free world, one day. So that's the pressure that you go into every day. When you put yourself into that competitive environment and you have to perform and make sure you're excelling and you're not the weak link, you're not the weak chain in that environment, that spills right over to the football field. So I love that we have that type of rigor at Howard because it brings out the best in every one of our young men and women every day.
You brought up the vice president, not me. Y'all get ready. We could have some folks in black suits at this game. If you haven't been to a sporting event for Secret Service, it's a little different. I've done that before. One quick thing before I let both of you go. Don't want to get real long. Next week, the coming days, times on the field, time in the film room, time in the meeting rooms. Give us a key to victory. Don't give us the whole thing, but just a key to victory. What has to happen for you guys to have a chance to win next week?
I think it's simple. I think when you get to high level football, whether it's championships, NFL, it's about not beating yourself. We have the things that we need to do to win the game, be successful in our opinion, offensively, defensively, and in the kicking game. But what it boils down to is us staying true to identity and not beating ourselves. And so we cannot beat ourselves. We've shown that we're good enough to go toe-to-toe with anyone in America. And I think that's the key for us, that the last thing we say when we leave the locker room, after we say our 7 F's, is we are FAMU. We just need to go out and be Florida University and not try to play on the biggest stage and do something different because it's a Celebration Bowl, because it's one of the first bowl games, because it's on national television, or the eyes of the country will be watching. The moment can't be bigger than us. We created the moment, right? And so we have to make sure that we're playing within ourselves and not going out doing things that will be contradictory to what our core values and beliefs are. And for us, that's the key. Of course, we have some maxims that we want to accomplish, but again, that's getting into more game planning. But we just have to stay true to who we are and do the things that we've done that's led us to this point this season.
Same here, identity. These games are identity games. And what you do is you don't rise to the occasion. Too often these guys turn on when the lights turn on, when I turn on. When it's the moment I'm ready. No, there's no such thing as that. You fall back on how you've been built. You fall back on your training. And at the end of the day, if you've been built right from January to this moment, you learn how to stay in the moments, what that means and what that's all about. And then the moment's never too big or never too small or never too anything for you. It's just another opportunity. Another opportunity to go out and play this game that every time you go out there is one less time that you will. And so you have to relish in every one of those opportunities and maximize the opportunity. So stay true to identity. Don't do things that beat yourself, kind of what Coach Simmons just said. But at the end of the day, be where your feet are. Stay in the moment. Put the phone down. Put it away. And embrace your teammates. Embrace the moment. Embrace all of these beautiful things that this bowl is going to put in place for us. And that all the people that have worked hard for us to get here, your parents and everyone. And just stay in the moment and ride it out for 60 minutes.
Yeah. Coach Scott, Coach Simmons, we thank you for being so inspirational. I can see why you're here. I can see why your teams are here. It's you're very inspirational what you have to say. Mr. Grant, anything you need me to bring out?
Take a final photo with our sponsor right in front, and then there's lunch afterwards.
Oh, okay, those things. They're gonna have a photo here. And before I let you go, I'm gonna remind you that next week is the week. It is championship week in Atlanta, and the champion will rise in the 2023 Cricket Wireless Celebration Bowl. Don't forget the night before is the band championship. I think there's still a few tickets left for both the championship and the game. So don't forget that 12 noon next Saturday, December 16th on ABC, as the champion will rise in Atlanta. Thanks so much for coming.